潮玩飛鏢 All About Darts。
各位聽眾，歡迎一次嚟到我哋潮玩飛鏢呢個節目，我係你嘅主持 Robert。呢度同我一齊嘅有另外兩位主持，一個就係邦 James Bond， 我哋嘅教練 James Bond， 同埋Peter Scott， 另一個我哋嘅出色嘅教練，亦都係我哋嘅 co-host。今日我哋訪問嘅係一位由Hamilton 嚟嘅飛鏢手，佢叫 Ron Miller。And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our show, All About Darts. And tonight we have another guest from Hamilton. His name is Ron Miller, and I'm your host, Robert. Along with me are our co-host, James Bond of Darts, and another very experienced coach, Peter Scott. And together we're gonna try and see if we can get some information and tips and interview our guest here, Ron Miller. So with that, I'll let Mr. Peter Scott start with his interview.
Well, I'd like to say good evening to you, Ron, and thank you for coming on to our show. And also good evening to our audience.
Thank you. Good evening.
Ron is a top-notch dart player from Hamilton, Ontario. He's got an excellent background for the readers to listen to. So tell us, Ron, how long you've been playing darts and how did you get interested into it? And also I'm interested in the league that you ran for nearly 10 years in Hamilton.
Well, I started probably playing about 24 years ago. I got off to a late start. I grew up in Sudbury, Ontario, and there wasn't much darts. I didn't even know darts existed when I was back then. And my wife's uncle decided to ask me to join in the dart league and in the pub league, and I decided to play, and things went from there.
Well, 24 years ago, that when you were much younger. You mind telling us how old were you 24 years ago?
Oh, geez, I was 26 at the time.
Oh, 26 at the time.
Yeah.
Well, that's really good. 各位聽眾，我哋啱訪問我哋嘉賓 Ron Miller 啦，佢係由細個由呢個我哋嘅北部嘅城鎮 Sudbury 長大。咁佢係24年前已經開始玩飛鏢啦。佢當時係26歲，咁即係佢而家50歲啦。佢個阿叔或者係佢 uncle 咧就帶佢入去玩呢樣嘢嘅。So let's continue, Bond.
When is your first taste of the Team Ontario, Ron?
When the first year I made it?
Yes.
It was 2006, I believe. I made it first. It was 2006 out in Halifax. That's where it was hosted.
Okay, so since then, how many times did you play in the Team Ontario for the Nationals?
I've been on the Team Ontario 4 times now.
And when would the last time be?
The last time would have been 2 years ago.
So 2013?
Yeah, 2013. I was there, I think, 2012 and 2012 and 13.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's very good. And how do you find the competition? Is it getting tougher every year?
Oh, yeah, the competition is just unbelievable.
Yeah, because I think over time, people, as more people play darts, it's getting a bigger following, and then the toughness in competition just goes up because now you're drawing from a larger pool of people, right? 各位聽眾，我哋啱講到就係同我哋嘅嘉賓講到係佢話一共有4次曾經代表安省響國家隊度比賽，2006年啦，其中最近2次咧就係2012同埋2013嘅。Okay, so back to Peter.
So in your formative years, when you started playing, especially in Hamilton, where did you play out of, and what was the league called?
Well, the league was called the Hamilton Veterans League. There was actually three leagues there. There was a men's division. There was also a ladies division and a mixed division, and it was all played out of the pubs, out of the bars. And at that time back then, there used to be, about 120 men's teams playing. But it was tough competition back then.
And during that time, when was that again? 10 years ago?
No, playing when I first started, it was about 24 years ago.
No, when you talk about the Hamilton Veterans League, when was that started?
The Hamilton Veterans League is where I started. I developed my own league called the New Hamilton Dart League about 15 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe back then there's still a lot of people in Hamilton that back then Stilco is still around. I think back then there's a lot of workers. Is there a lot of people from factories that play these?
Well, there used to be, but the economy the way it is now in Hamilton without the steel workers not around there anymore. The leagues have really gone downhill.
Okay, let me just explain this a little bit. 各位其實就我哋嘅嘉賓就講緊佢開始嘅時候係響呢個咸美頓呢個省嗰度啦。咁當然好多鋼鐵工人啦。咁但係而家逐漸式微啦。咁佢都有曾經全盛時期嗰啲有成百幾人喺度玩佢嗰個項目嘅。And who wants the next question? Maybe. Are you ready, Peter, for another question?
Sure I am there. You are an excellent player. And we're a teaching league here. We're part of the Multicultural Dart Association where we teach beginners. What's your best advice to somebody just starting darts?
Just starting darts would be just keep practicing. That's all I can say. You have to practice and just keep at it, because then don't get disappointed in yourself. Things will always turn around and it will always get better.
Okay, and now as they get to be a better player, and gradually I find that the beginners improve very rapidly, and then they get to a level where they are either fairly good, but they just can't go that little step into getting into the top-notch rank, and that's where they need some help. And what advice would you give to a seasoned player who wants to be a Team Ontario person, or actually, to go even farther?
Well, in order to get over that little hump that you're talking about, you have to get out and play in the tournaments that are around. You can't just play in your dart league, because there's so many better players out there than in your dart league that you can that you have to get out and play. You just can't sit at home and practice anymore.
Well, that's very interesting, because every interview we got every interview that we have, people always say you really got to meet people out there, and the only best way is to go to tournaments, because that gives you a chance to put you up into that high pressure cooker kind of situation and test your stamina and mentality. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. 其實我哋嗰位教練Peter 咧，佢問究竟Ron Miller 佢覺得有咩 tips 啊，有咩嘢可以俾啲新手啊，同埋啲係比較玩得耐嘅朋友。咁呢個最簡單嘅就係話如果你係新手嘅話，一定要練習再練習，係咪？因為只有重複練習之中，你先至可以做到有一種好平均嘅進步。但係如果有一啲已經係進步咗嘅朋友咧，佢話應該係好似其他人一樣講，就係話去參加比賽，因為只有參加比賽，你先至可以撞到一啲江湖高手，你先可以考驗自己嘅能力，你先可以就考驗自己俾到自己壓力。So we have maybe another very short question before the break. You want to give a short question, Bob?
Will you please share to all our listeners how do you practice and how many hours do you practice all the time, Ron?
Well, it's right now I'm just getting I've taken a year off, and I'm just getting back into the practicing portion of it, and I practice for about an hour every day because I do work a lot. I don't get home till 7:30 at night, and I leave in the morning at 5:30 in the morning, so it doesn't leave me a lot of time to practice. But on the weekends, I like to get in about 3 or 4 hours if I can, at least, until I can get a little bit better. And now I'm getting to the point where I have to take my own advice and, as a beginner, go out and start playing tournaments again.
Okay, good. And 我哋嗰位嘉賓呢，佢講佢話佢而家即係呢一年呢，都已經係暫時冇響響啲會嗰度玩啦，因為佢工作好忙嘅，咁佢7點半就要起身，唔係做到7點半，朝頭早5點半就要起身啦。咁但係佢每日都保持翻3至4個鐘頭嘅。And that's just about conclude the first segment of our interview. And I'm going to cut off for a little bit to our sponsors and messages. And we'll come back and carry on this interview with our guest, Ron Miller. I'm your host, Robert. And with me, our host, Bong, and Peter Scott. So we'll be back in a short while. Thank you.
華語電台着數多，
一卡在手冇錯過。
Canadian Chinese Radio Jet to Card Special。
飛鏢運動除強身健體之餘，仲可訓練頭腦，又可認識新朋友。由 Multicultural Dart Association 主辦嘅飛鏢訓練班現已接受報名，享譽國際嘅 Peter Scott 同飛鏢占士邦親自教導，5堂課程包用具，只需50蚊。報名及查詢電話416-496-9633。
Learn to play darts with Peter Scott and James Bong Faldas at Multicultural Darts Association. 5 sessions, equipment included, only $50. Please call 416-496-9633 for further details.
一號卡申請及查詢電話416-496-9633。華語電台着數多，一卡在手冇錯過。
潮玩飛鏢 All About Darts。
Okay, welcome back to the show All About Darts. I'm your host here, Robert, and with me are co-hosts Bonbon, James Bond, and Peter Scott, and our guest today is Ron Miller. And we cut over earlier on, and we are now going to continue our interview. And with the first question is Peter Scott.
Ron is one of the unsung heroes of the dart world. He's been running the league until recently for 10 years in Hamilton. And Ron, those people couldn't play darts without people who run the league and organize the league and arrange the venues and all those kind of things that's necessary. How about giving the readers an overview of the pros and cons of running a league in Hamilton, Ontario?
Well, running the league in Hamilton was a really big challenge because when we first started off, it was just a men's singles league, and we were fighting to get 4 to 6 teams started. And by the time we were done, we had about 8 men's teams and another 8 ladies teams in here. They were all singles. So the big challenge was just trying to get the players out, because we played on a Friday night, which is the only night that was available because everybody else was running leagues during the weekdays. But you have to surround yourself with a lot of good people. And fortunately for me, my wife was one of the main people that ran the league with me.
Who was that?
Denise Miller, my wife.
Okay.
Well, I take it your wife plays darts, and a good one too, I hear.
Well, she used to be. She actually got out of it because she just didn't have it in her belly anymore to play, but she loved running it and meeting the people that played in it. So this opportunity fitted very well.
Women are good organizers, I must say.
Yeah,
Oh,
so would you play mixed things with the wife on a team? Did you ever?
Once in a while, not too often. She had her own partner. I had my own partner.
Yeah,
it was
sometimes.
just much easier that way.
Yeah, sometimes when you with somebody all day, you need a break, just like husband and wife running a business. Huh?
That's
So-
right.
Okay, so let's bring our other audience up to date here. 咁我哋就訪問咗我哋嘅訪客，我哋就同佢講，嘉賓就同佢講，即係關於即係做一個組織嚇，做一個 New Hamilton Dart League 嘅問題啊，佢都 run 咗佢10年啦。咁佢就話因為佢其實同佢個太太一齊做嘅，咁我哋就再問佢係咪即係佢太太做晒大部分嘅事啦，佢都好多嘢做㗎，但係即係會唔會同佢一齊玩呢？咁佢話佢各有各嘅，因為即係咧，即係好似正如我哋話齋，即係如果一對嘢對嗰個伴侶咧都唔想同佢一齊做每樣嘢都一齊嘅，有時咁都要分開下。咁佢太太亦都係好出色嘅飛鏢手啊，佢哋但係分開兩個人唔同嘅partner 組合，咁亦都係十分之好嘅。And Bong, you have a next question for our guest.
Ron, the men's Super Division affiliates team in the Darts Ontario, how do you select players to represent your Dart League in the Darts Ontario affiliates?
What we did was we used to have a tournament, and we would send the winner and their runner-up, and I think we were able to send three men and 3 ladies to the Ontarios every year.
And how many is that? Are they on a team or are they all singles?
No, they're all singles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when you go down for Darts Ontario, it's all singles.
Yeah.
How about the team? I'm talking about the men's Super Division team affiliates, the 8-person
how do
team.
we decide that? We usually what we did was we handpicked basically the top players. We had we kept the stats per darts, and that's how we selected our players to go down for the Super and Division 1 and Division 2.
Okay.
Okay, so the 8-person team really doesn't go through any kind of special tournament. They're just based on statistics.
Yes, it's based on stats up until we have to submit our players.
Yeah, for that calendar year or the season, right?
Yes.
Oh, that's good. Let me explain here. 咁其中邦邦問到呢個問題咧，就係話究竟佢哋點樣選擇呢啲？佢哋喺佢哋嗰個組織裏頭點樣選擇啲人出嚟比賽咧？咁其實就有呢個解釋嘅，就係話佢哋每年都大約 send 3個男3個女出去呢個安省選拔賽嗰度。另外咁邦邦問到有啲8人嘅組織嘅時候，又係咪用呢個比賽嚟到挑選選手出去呢？佢就話唔係嘅，呢個呢係用佢哋嘅成績邊個喺個季裏頭嘅成績最好呢，就選拔出去嗰8個人。And Peter, now are you ready for one?
Sure. One of the things that always crosses my mind, and with a successful dart player, is that what thing separates the average from the good, and the good from the exceptional? Those kind of things that only you can ask a top player to point out. What separates you from the average player in your league?
It separates me from the average player.
Yeah.
It's just the willing to win. Everybody basically practices. Everybody practices differently. But you have to have that drive to win. And if you don't have that drive to win, you're not going to become better than an average player.
The desire to win.
Yes, you have to have that there.
And okay, you must hate to lose then.
Oh, when I first started 24 years ago, I hated to lose.
Mm-hmm.
That was the one thing that I did not like.
Okay, so what kind of practice routine do you get up so that you can prepare yourself for this?
Well, now that they have the apps that you can practice against the computers, what I usually do is I usually throw for my bullseyes about 50 times. Then I go for the triple 20s for another 50, and then the 19s, and then the 18s for 50 and 17s, and then I play against the computer at one of the highest levels.
So you get to the triple 20s, you do it 50 times?
Yes.
And then all the way down to what number?
Can I just go down to 17s? But I love to throw at the bullseyes. That's just, I try to incorporate that into my game as much as possible.
Yeah. So you just do 50 times triple 20?
Yeah.
And
hit the triple 20s 50 times.
And then 19?
And the 19s, and that's what warms me up.
And how long does it take all the way down to this practice routine? Does it take an hour?
Yeah, usually about an hour.
Yeah.
And then you can start playing games on the computer, unless you can find somebody to practice with all the time, which that person should be at least equal to, or if not better than yourself.
Oh, so you are playing soft tip then also?
No, I just play the hard tip.
Oh, you're not into soft tip at all?
No, I haven't started into soft tip. I have soft tip darts. I just haven't started playing yet.
Okay, well，咁我哋而家就再講講呢個問題咧，就係話我哋嘉賓就佢阿 Peter 問佢有乜嘢可以分別啲好啊、唔好啊，呢個係最好嘅選手咧。咁佢話啲即係最好嘅選手，好似佢自己咁啦，就係有一個去贏嘅決心。佢咧唔想輸嘅，每一次佢都係想贏嘅。佢輸嘅時候咧好頹喪嘅。咁佢亦都係被問到究竟佢有乜嘢有咩特別練習嘅系統咧？咁佢話咧就要打呢個紅心50次，然之後triple 嘅50次、19、18、17啊咁樣50次。咁如果打完晒呢個咧，以佢嚟講咧，差唔多成粒鐘㗎啦。Okay, so a short question from maybe Bong.
We will talk about the 2013 Team Ontario at the Canadian Nationals Darts Championship.
Oh.
It looks like it's more memorable to you, Ron, compared to the last 5 times you are in the Nationals. The 2013, wherein the Team Ontario won the triple gold cup, Canada Cup, men's gold Nudor Cup.
Yes, that was fun as a team. That was the most exciting team that I played on. Just for the simple reason that we did win the whole thing.
And what do you mean by this triple gold thing?
Well, what the triple gold is it also involves with the youth Team Ontario. They managed to win their gold. Team Ontario managed to win their gold.
Yes.
Which is a team event with the men's and the ladies.
Right.
Together. And then there's they have what they call the Nordor Cup, which is the men's team versus all the other provinces' men's team, and same with the ladies. Mm-hmm. And we both won our gold medals.
Okay. And so that's 2, actually 4, right? So
yeah.
So why do you call it triple gold?
Well, triple gold, I guess, was for the adult program only.
Okay.
But it's the first time that the youth and the adults won everything, like won the teams and the men's and ladies. Okay,
we're coming to the end of the second segment, so we're going to get off a little bit, and I'll come back with a translation later for our audience. So now, we are going to now cut over, and in about a few minutes, we'll be right back and continue with this interview. Thank you.
Canadian Chinese Radio Jet to Card Special.
飛鏢運動除強身健體之餘，仲可訓練頭腦，又可認識新朋友。由 Multicultural Dart Association 主辦嘅飛鏢訓練班現已接受報名，享譽國際嘅 Peter Scott 同飛鏢占士邦親自教導，5堂課程包用具，只需50蚊。報名及查詢電話416-496-9633。
Learn to play darts with Peter Scott and James Bong Faldas at Multicultural Darts Association. 5 sessions, equipment included, only $50. Please call 416-496-9633 for further details.
一早卡申請及查詢電話416-496-9633，華語電台着數播，一級製作冇錯過。
潮玩飛鏢 All About Darts。
歡迎各位聽眾翻到嚟我哋潮玩飛鏢呢個節目，我係你嘅主持 Robert， 同埋一齊有我哋另外兩位主持啦，就係阿邦邦 James Bond 同埋Peter， 我哋另外一位資深嘅教練。同埋我哋一齊嘅仲有我哋嘅嘉賓訪問，今日響 Hamilton 嚟嘅 Ron Miller。So let me finish the last bit of translation。各位我哋上次啱完之前，我哋講到就係邦邦想問2013年阿 Ron 佢自己響呢個選拔賽嗰度，響安省選拔賽嗰度嗰一個好偉大嘅成績啊！佢哋就係有贏咗三個金嘅獎狀。咁而家我哋繼續啲訪問咧，就係問由邦問下啲內容啊，其他嘢。So let's go back to Bong Bong and Bong Bong, your chance to have the further discussion with Ron over other stuff.
The Professional Dart Corporation World Darts Championship in 2006 at Circus Tavern. Will you please explain to the listeners how did you come up playing in that place in England?
Well, I first made the first time I made Team Ontario in 2006. We went to Halifax, and I lost in the finals of the nationals, the singles out there, and I got an invite to the World Championships for the PDC, and I thinking that it was once in a lifetime dream. Everybody wants to play on the big stage of the PDC World Championships, so I ended up going.
So PDC, what's the full name of it again?
Professional Dart Corporation.
Yeah, I get it that much. So that was in England. Which city was that?
Oh, geez, it was just on the outskirts. It was in a small little town. I can't remember exactly where it was.
Outside London?
Yeah, it was outside London.
And how did you do?
I lost in the first round to Roland Schulten at the time. I think he was ranked number 8 in the world at that time.
So it was an elimination round?
Yes, I got put right into the top 32, I believe.
Oh, and how many were in that particular tournament then?
I think there was 64.
Yeah, that also I figured too. But that's really a good thing to be given that. And obviously back then you didn't have any sponsors to pay the bill. So who paid the bill? You paid the bill?
I paid the bill.
Yeah, well, it's good.
Yes, but I was guaranteed £3,500 to go and play my first match.
Oh.
So that made things a little easier on my decision to go out and play.
Oh, okay. So you get a bit of a refund for participation, shall we say?
Yes. They getting the invite to the World Championships at that time. You got into the money round, which is the £3,500.
Wow. Okay, that's good. And £3,500. So how much of that did you get? Did you get the whole thing?
Oh, yes. I think it worked out to over 7,000 Canadian. And then I had won another 1,000 for coming in second at the Nationals. So my trip was basically paid for.
Oh, wow, that's good. Let me explain. 咁邦邦就問到佢2006年去咗英國比賽嘅我哋嘉賓，咁因為佢2006年呢，就係響哈利法斯呢，係去到最後決賽先輸咗。 咁當時嘅 Professional Dart Corporation 咧，即係 PDC 咧，就請咗佢英國比賽，有64人嘅比賽啊。咁佢輸咗俾呢個全世界第8嘅選手。咁原來當陣時係有好多錢俾嘅，差唔多有成7000蚊俾翻佢去參加比賽。咁總的嚟講，佢呢個就唔使出錢，亦都冇人去贊助佢，其實完全係唔使點樣出錢嘅。Okay, I'm sure Peter now is ready for another question.
Yeah, I'm interested, and maybe the audience is too, in the fact is that, generally speaking, to get to be a quasi-professional or that area where you're approaching a professional dart player, it's hard on your expenses and it's hard on your family. Do you have any sponsors, Ron?
No, none.
Okay,
None
so
whatsoever.
you pay for all your own equipment and all your own travel to all of these tournaments that you have to attend to get the necessary profile and also points in order to be a professional.
Yes, I did.
Right. And so are you going to do that in the future?
Yes, actually, I'm just going to start getting back into playing this year.
Okay.
Like I said, I started a couple weeks ago practicing hard.
So if any of our listeners are interested in sponsoring you, you'll certainly be receptive.
Yes. Yes, I would.
Yeah, one of the interview that we had earlier on, actually a couple of them talked about people getting sponsors. That would be nice because that sort of give you a padding on your expenses. The other thing, of course, is that there's two approaches, and I don't know if you would look into that. Is one of them is to sell promotion through website and approaching sponsors, and maybe you would consider that, or do you have strategies to consider that?
I haven't really spent a lot of time on looking at sponsorship or anything like that. Right now, it's just to get back playing on my game, where I was a few years ago. Okay. That's my main concern, because there's no point in even attempting to go for a sponsor if you're not committed to playing.
Okay, and maybe we sort of missed that point. Why did you skip a little bit the last little while?
Well, the last little while, I just needed a break. I did a lot of traveling the year before with a friend of mine, Bernie Miller. I'm sure you guys know
We know
who he
Bernie,
is.
yes.
Your brother, Bernie Miller in darts.
Yes, and we did a lot of traveling the year before, and it just wore me out, and I just needed a break for a year to get back into the right frame of mind and just start playing.
So I guess that would be another person we need to interview one of these days. Maybe, huh?
The other half of the Miller brothers.
The Miller brothers. Okay.
Yes,
so,
he's the extravagant one.
Yeah. And when you travel with him, do you play as a team or each playing single?
Well, we were doing the PDC tour. We were Atlantic City, Las Vegas, and if there was a doubles tournament at the same time, then we would play together.
Oh, okay.
But we were mainly down there for our singles.
OK，咁其實我哋呢位貴賓咧，佢講到咧就係話至於冇人贊助嘅問題咧，佢係唔擔心嘅，因為佢首先要做好佢自己嘅飛鏢，因為佢停咗大約1年度啦。咁我問佢點解要停咗，佢哋問佢停價，點解要停1年咧？佢話因為即係以前即係已經做得太過多嘅周遊列國啊去玩啦，同埋佢原來有另外一半就係佢有個兄弟叫Bernie 係咪 Miller 咧，亦都係同佢一齊嘅。咁我再問佢係咪玩雙打，佢話如果機會響度佢一定玩雙打嘅，但係普通嘅時候佢哋自己都係單打嘅，獨行獨斷嘅。OK， and
There is an upcoming British Isle show in Canada. I noticed that you were there last year. What is the experience of a Canadian playing against the British dart player?
Well, that British thing that you were talking about, that's basically what they did was they started a little tournament at the British show. There's actually no British people that showed up to play.
Nobody showed up like Bob Anderson or somebody from England?
No, they didn't have anybody like that. They didn't have any professionals there.
Okay. So what did you play there? Just singles to win
Yes.
something?
Yeah, that was just the singles. It was the first time they tried it. I'm not sure if they're going to have it again this year. I haven't looked at the flyer. But it was something that they decided, well, because it's the British show, that they should probably throw in a dart tournament.
Yeah, usually when they call it a British Isle show, one of the British players were coming, like Bob Anderson and John Lowe and several
this is
professional
more-
dart players.
This is more of a show at the Toronto International Centre for the British people, and they're geared more to the Coronation Street more than the darts.
Okay.
So are we saying that, yeah, there are Brits there, but they're just not the top-notch Brits?
There's actually not the dart player Brits.
Then what? Why do they call it the British Isle show?
Well, it's for the British for buying British things. They bring in candy and from England and all
it
that stuff.
features all the products from England,
Okay.
all over England, to the expatriés here who, like myself, who still want our fish and chips and vinegar
and the pies and
Yep.
and they have their
Okay.
Coronation Street person there every year.
Toffees and the sweets.
Yes. So the Canadian dot players just play with Canadian dot players, and you call it Canadian British Isle show, something like that? Or did I get it wrong?
No, they just call it the British Isle Show. This is a show that's been going on for years in the city of Toronto.
Okay.
They actually had some dart players and they used to hold it at the exhibition.
Oh,
And
okay.
I actually played in a dart tournament down there. And again, you're right, Ron. There was no real big name dart players from England at all. I think they just wanted to avoid the expense of bringing them over and paying them to play here.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we're coming now to the end of our third segment, so I'm going to cut away, and when we come back, we'll do with the translation, and actually, after Bond has given his activity for a few minutes, and we cut back to this translation, and then subsequently the final part of the interview. So thanks a lot, we'll be right back.
華語電台着數多，
一卡在手冇錯過。
Canadian Chinese Radio Jet to Card Special.
飛鏢運動除強身健體之餘，仲可訓練頭腦，又可認識新朋友。由 Multicultural Dart Association 主辦嘅飛鏢訓練班現已接受報名，享譽國際嘅 Peter Scott 同飛鏢占士邦親自教導，5堂課程包用具，只需50蚊。報名及查詢電話416-496-9633。
Learn to play darts with Peter Scott and James Bong Faldas at Multicultural Darts Association. 5 sessions, equipment included, only $50. Please call 416-496-9633 for further details.
一早卡申請及查詢電話416-496-9633。華語電台着數多，一卡在手冇錯過。
潮玩飛鏢 All About Darts。
歡迎聽眾翻到嚟我哋潮玩飛鏢呢個節目，我係你嘅我哋嘅主持Robert，我哋今日嘅嘉賓就係 Ron Miller 啦，響 Hamilton 嚟嘅。亦都有同時我哋嘅兩位主持就係邦 James Bond 同埋Peter Scott。咁呢個問題就係我哋啱講到之前呢就講咗一個問題嘅，但係我哋呢而家先講一講我哋有咩活動先。咁而家呢就由邦去話俾我哋聽。OK， 邦。
Sarantos Retinas Memorial Dart Tournament on April 24, 25th, and 26th. Friday drawn doubles. Men's, women's championships and consolations. Grand total prizes $14,000 plus. Required registration for 100% payouts. Singles entry minimum of 100 men, 40 women. Registration fee $100 per person. That includes Friday drawn doubles, or $130 per person for Saturday and Sunday events. Pre-registration by April 10. No late registrants accepted after deadline. Hellenic Community of Montreal South Shore Region, 5220 Grand Alley, St. Hubert, Quebec. Rooms are available at Hotel Quality Inn Suites. Ask for darters rate. Email Katerina_Ritsinas@hotmail.com。
好啦，咁呢，其實呢，我哋有一個好大嘅比賽，就係4月24、25同埋26號嘅。咁呢個呢，就係一個紀念比賽嚟嘅，俾一個人叫做 Sorrento's Resinas。OK， 咁呢個比賽呢，就總共嘅獎金呢係14,000蚊。咁呢，就一定要登記啦。咁同埋每一個比賽嘅入場呢係100蚊，就包括咗一個doubles 嘅，或者係130蚊，禮拜六、禮拜日。咁呢個登記呢，一定要係4月10號之前，過咗呢就冇得傾。仲有呢，呢個地方呢，就係叫做 Hellenic Community of Montreal。咁佢就喺呢個 South Shore Region 520 Grand Alley， St. Hubert， 魁北克省嘅。咁亦都有一系列嘅酒店房俾你，就喺個 Quality Inn 嗰度。咁你就要問呢，就係問嗰陣時就會話自己係一個 Darters Rate。咁如果要電郵嘅呢，就係呢個 Katerina 係 spell 係 C 嘅 CATERINA underscore Resinas RETSINAS at hotmail.com。
Aurora Newmarket Summer Dart League. Team registration on April 28, Tuesday. Pre-schedule captains meeting, May 11, Monday. Meeting venue, the Grey Coat, 74 Main Street, Newmarket. Meeting at 7 p.m. Team venue fee is $350. Team fee is $140. Total fees for a team, $490. ANSDL starts May 12, Tuesday. Submit registration form to Kiri Bodert, keybones39@gmail.com. Sean Griffin 555@gmail.com. Rob Savoy, Robert Savoy @rogers.com. 6 players per team. 3 matches doubles 501. 3 matches doubles cricket. 6 matches singles 501. All 501 straight in, double out. All matches best 2 out of 3 games. The Aurora Newmarket Summer Dart League。
OK， 仲有呢，就係我哋呢度附近Newmarket 同 Aurora 嘅活動，就係 Aurora Newmarket Summer Dart League。佢就係28號禮拜二呢就要登記，全部係一隊隊嘅。咁呢，咁就有一個 meeting 係5月11號之前禮拜一。佢玩呢就係響呢個叫 Grey Coat 呢間應該係酒店之類啦，74號 Main Street Newmarket。咁嗰個 meeting 呢就係7點鐘。其實佢嗰個費用加加埋埋每一隊呢係490蚊。咁同埋佢嗰個會呢就係由5月12號開始禮拜二。咁如果你有乜嘢登記嘅 form 呢，你就要 send 去呢幾個人啦。邊個都講咗，邦都講咗，你翻去聽下佢哋。仲有6隊，即係每一隊有6個會員啦。咁就咁全部都係3盤2勝嘅。OK。
All About Darts radio program is a project of Multicultural Dart Association, a registered not-for-profit organization which aims to promote darts as a sport and darts players in both soft tip and steel tip globally. MDA has experienced in-house darts mentors, themselves darts champions. Training sessions at MDA Monday to Friday at 6 p.m. Membership fee $50 for the whole year. Contact 647-997-0808 for Chinese language. 647-712-5222 for English language.
我哋呢個節目呢，潮玩飛鏢呢係一個多元文化飛鏢中心，即係會嘅project 嚟嘅。咁呢，我哋係一個不牟利嘅機構，係會即係推銷呢一個運動嘅項目啦。咁我哋亦都係做呢個軟同埋硬貼嘅飛鏢。咁我哋亦都有兩大教練喺度啦，佢哋自己都曾經係冠軍啦。咁禮拜一至五6點鐘咧都可以上嚟玩嘅。我哋嘅會員費咧就係50蚊一年全年喎。如果有咩嘅話，可以接觸我哋中文咧就係647-997-0808，英文咧就係647-712-522嘅。Okay, so now we get back into the program, and we last talked about this British Isles show. So very quickly, let me do the translation. 其實有一個比即係其實係一個表演賽咧，就加拿大飛鏢手嘅。咁我哋個嘉賓亦都曾經做過，就叫 British Isles Show， 即係英倫三島啦。咁佢亦都係好中意參加呢個節目嘅每年。Now we back to the next question from Peter.
Yeah, Ron, you're one of the very few players that have played competitive darts at a high level, both in the USA and in England and also in Canada. Tell me, is there any difference in the quality of players you were opposing and playing with? And also, is there any difference in the games?
Let's see. The competition is pretty much the same. There's a lot more good dart players down in the United States because simply they've got the population that we don't have up here. As far as the games are concerned, they tend to gear themselves more to the crickets and now to the more electronic darts.
That's USA, right?
Yes.
Where was the highest quality dart you played?
I'm just trying to think. Cleveland has a great turnout. They're extravaganzas. And Syracuse has a great turnout too.
Was this higher than England?
No, England is... I've only been over there once, and that was for the World Championships, and you can't get any higher than that on this planet, period.
They're the best, huh?
They are the best. No matter what anybody says, those guys are the best because that's what they do.
Okay.
You want to be a professional dart player, you have to practice at it. You can't have a part-time. You can have a part-time job. You can't have a full-time job doing this thing.
What are you saying that these people over in the UK? Well, a lot of them are traveling back and forth between that and the rest of the European countries, and because they have, from my knowledge, over 20 million people to draw from easily, they could. Dart players, I mean, not just 20 million people population, so they're really a formidable bunch of people there over in UK, right?
Oh yes, they are phenomenal at this game of darts. There's no question about it.
Well, I hate to cut this short, but I think we just about run out of time for the host, for the guest today, and I think we could say goodbye to our audience. From you, Ron.
Well, thanks for having me.
Okay, and I'm going to switch over a little bit to Chinese now to wrap up the program. 各位，我哋啱啱就完成咗呢一個訪問。呢個訪問咧就係話究竟呢三樣美國、英國同加拿大有咩分別咧？同埋邊一個嘅品質最高咧？當然係英國嘅人嘅技術最好啦，因為即係佢哋有2000萬嘅飛鏢友發燒嘅可以選擇啦。咁佢亦都話美國嘅都好過加拿大嘅啲水準，就係多數玩 cricket 啦，同埋響呢個 Cleveland、Ohio 啦、Syracuse 啦都好好嘅，因為佢只係過英國一次，但係佢對英國十分之讚賞。So yeah, I think that was a really constructive and nice interview that we just had with Ron, and it does bring out some of the things that we don't hear from other people from time to time. And so, Bong, you're going to
Thank you very much to all those who listen to All About Darts.潮玩飛鏢.
Okay.
Thank you. Good night from Peter Scott. And Ron, thanks.
Ron,
again.
thank you so much, Ron.
Well, thank you guys.
OK，各位，我哋時間又到啦，咁我哋再一次多謝我哋嘅嘉賓Ron Miller，亦都係再多謝我哋兩位主持邦邦同埋 Peter Scott 幫我完成呢個節目。潮玩飛鏢呢個節目係每逢禮拜二播出晚上，希望各位收睇收聽因為收睇呢就係我成日都講錯口啊，收睇其實收睇我哋就播完之後呢將節目抌咗上去 YouTube 嗰度嘅，但係好可惜而家仲未有視像，到咗將來或者會有嘅。咁而家我再一次同大家講再見。OK， 我係你嘅 host Robert，thank you and good night。
華語電台着數多，
一卡在手冇錯過。
Canadian Chinese Radio Jet to Card Special。
飛鏢運動除強身健體之餘，仲可訓練頭腦，又可認識新朋友。由 Multicultural Dart Association 主辦嘅飛鏢訓練班現已接受報名，享譽國際嘅 Peter Scott 同飛鏢占士邦親自教導，5堂課程包用具，只需50蚊。報名及查詢電話416-496-9633。
Learn to play darts with Peter Scott and James Bong Faldas at Multicultural Darts Association. 5 sessions, equipment included, only $50. Please call 416-496-9633 for further details.
一早卡申請及查詢電話416-496-9633。華語電台着數播，一卡在手冇錯過。